Hi, it's me again. Welcome back, Friday Night Live. Glad that you're here joining me. And if you're here live, please feel free to give me a reaction response there and let me know that you're here. Feel free to chime in if you like. And you can also leave comments after the fact if you're watching this once it's been posted. So today I thought I would do a little bit of storytelling. And I titled this video on finding something lost and with gratitude. So yesterday I had quite an interesting day. It was a very trying day, actually. And what I lost was data. I thought I lost data. All right, I just gave you a sneak peek to the ending. It has a happy ending, but for many hours yesterday, it didn't feel that way. And it was actually very stressful. And what I did was I bought a new laptop computer, and I operate a lot of my business programs from my laptop computer. And I was basically getting an upgrade. And I had believed that I did the appropriate backing up that I needed to do so that I could restore my data seamlessly afterwards. And what ended up happening was I did 3 forms of backing up, and 2 of them apparently didn't work. And the third one, I thought, okay, great, no problem. I'll use this data to restore, and these are my financial programs that I'm talking about. So that can give you maybe you can relate with having some stress at believing that you don't have the ability to, focus on your finances and understand where you're at. So in any case, I used one of those little thumb drives, a little jump drive, and late night on Wednesday, I had plugged it in, and I was, going to restore the data that I believed was there. And I saw it, and I selected it, and it wasn't the most recent backup that I had done. And so this was perplexing to me. And instead of saying, okay, import that data, I thought, let me step away and try and investigate and find the most recent data. Now, it was only a couple of days old, but still, I persisted and I figured I'm going to find the most recent data. And then I proceeded to fall asleep. Hi, Zita, thanks for joining. And not a big deal, right? It's late at night, fall asleep, no problem, good thing to do. And in the morning when I went to my laptop to continue this process of restoring the data, it said that unable to find that file. And in fact, your latest USB drive is not visible anymore. So try inserting it again. And that was odd. So I stuck it in a different USB port, and I got the same message. It's not reading whatever's there, and so I stuck it into a third USB port, and it got the same message, nothing's there, and I'm getting a little bit more stressed and a little bit panicky, just going, what does that mean? And so I thought, no problem, I can handle this, it's okay. There's some solution out there, and I'm just going to go ahead. And this was early in the morning. Now, normally on Thursdays, that's my teaching day, and yesterday it wasn't a teaching day for me. So I thought, okay, I've got the first part of the day, I'm going to handle these things. I had mapped out how I was going to handle my day. And it started to lead into a little bit more panic because this is very important data to me. And so I went back and I got into troubleshooting mode and investigating mode. Where is that data? How can I find it? And what I've learned to do is when I start to get into that, uh-oh, I let that uh-oh happen, and then I just go, okay, there's a solution. I'm going to call the tech support, the service that came with my laptop. And so I did that and spent probably about 45, 50 minutes on the phone with him. We troubleshooted everything, and he said, I'm sorry, there's nothing that I can do from your computer to try and find it. Why don't you go ahead and call the company that made the USB backup device? And so I did that, and she walked me through one more troubleshooting step and said, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do. You're going to have to try downloading the software to locate your data, and we can replace it for you. And I thought, oh man, that's not going to help me out. So I'm getting more stressed, and I'm calming myself at the same time that I'm stressed, and I'm calming myself, and then I just go have some breakfast, go wash some dishes. I've mentioned before that I do a lot of my thinking while I'm doing dishes, and so there I am doing my dishes, and I come up with an inspired thought, and I go and I try that, and that didn't work. And so, I let it rest a little bit, and I'm trying to remain calm. And then I tried another avenue, and that didn't work. And I tried one more, and meanwhile, I'm just thinking, why is this happening? What's going on? Why is this happening? Surely there has to be an easy way for me to find this data. Something horrible like this can't be happening. And then I decide, well, I'm going to call my office networking support people, and they mentioned somebody else. I call them, and because they said these guys are the best of the company, best in the United States. Best in the country for retrieving data. Okay, cool. And they're right there in my hometown. And so I give them a call, and then I find out that if we can pull out that data, if we do a rush job, meaning you'd have it by Monday, it'd cost anywhere from like $900 to basically like $4,000. And I just thought, come on, this has to get better than this. There has to be a better solution to this. And so I came up with another idea, and I tried that avenue, and that one didn't work either. And finally I just said, okay, because everything seemed to just be going down. I had 2 financial programs, and neither of them were working. And what are the chances of neither of them working? So I decided to just step away and just allow for things to unfold, get my hair done. When all else fails, go get your hair done. So I went to my appointment, and I was still stewing on it and just thinking it through. And I thought, all right, I'll get this done, and then afterwards I'll go to the Geek Squad and I'll see what they say. And so I got encouraged when I went and got my hair done. I had a nice, easy visit and got a bite to eat. And I can't go on an empty stomach. I can't think well if I'm not nourishing myself. So I had something good to eat. And I decided to go and check out the Geek Squad and see if they could do something. Well, their cost was lower, anywhere from $250 to $550, but it might take months for me to get that data back. So, by this time I was just like, I'm just going to redo all of that work myself. I'm just going to redo the work. I'll just take 2 days, take a weekend and just power in there and redo all the work that I had lost. And something told me, go to your office. Go to your office and try one more thing. So I did. So 7:30 last night, I come back to the office, and I tried one more thing, and I had a glimmer of hope. And it ended up working. Now, I spent another 2.5 to 3 hours here at the office in order to get everything to work, but I persisted, and once I had that hope, that glimmer of hope, it made it easier for me to move forward. And so there's a big story, and I want to tell you what a background story was, because this is part of what helped keep me going throughout the day. Is I was remembering a number of years ago, I lost my credit cards. I thought I lost them. So it's another instance where I thought I lost my money, right? Access to my money. And I was in Yosemite, and it was in the winter time, and I was staying outside of the park, so it takes about 30, 45 minutes or so to drive into the Yosemite Valley. And if you haven't been there, you got to go to Yosemite. It is just one of the most beautiful places around, one of our national parks here in California. So if you haven't, I hope you get a chance to go and visit. And it's just beautiful in the wintertime, and there's snow everywhere. And, those icicles that you see like on, when you're watching holiday Christmas shows and you see icicles, coming down from the edges of the rooftops, that's what it's like over there. Picture perfect. And when I realized back at the hotel that my form of payment was missing, because I had gone to the lodge's gift shop there, and I wanted to pay for something and I couldn't. And I thought, okay, I believe I left it somewhere at one of the places I ate in Yosemite. So I will just go back tomorrow and I'll retrieve it. And meanwhile, I had brought a gratitude journal with me. And I decided I wasn't going to go and call in my credit cards lost or stolen, because I felt and I believed inside that I just needed to go and retrieve them, that they were there for me. And so I started writing my gratitudes, and I made sure that I was writing gratitude in earnest. So I was not like convincing myself that everything was okay. I just really slowed down and centered myself, and I just wrote, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you that, you know, my financial world is safe and secure. Thank you that I'm well provided for. Thank you that I have such a wonderful life. Thank you. I just kept thinking of everything that I was so grateful for. Thank you that I'm here. I'm so grateful I'm here in this amazing, majestic place, this national park, and that I'm relaxed and I'm having a wonderful time, and I'm on vacation, and this is just going to give me, you know, one extra trip into this beautiful valley, and thank you for, you know, my protection, that I'm protected, that my bank accounts are safe. And I felt livened up, like I felt happier. And what I did is the next morning, I drove into Yosemite feeling lighthearted and happy. And it was the most amazing day. You know, when there's just white snow everywhere and you look up and the sky is a rich blue, like there's no clouds around, you know? And it's just, you see that stark contrast of color, and oh my God, I just felt very overjoyed, which was strange because I could have otherwise felt extremely stressed and been fretting the entire time. And oh my gosh, what if I don't find him? What am I going to do? I haven't called in my credit cards. What if someone's already used it? All these things. And I had just decided that no one here in Yosemite is out to steal anyone's credit cards, and that a nice person turned them in, and I'm about to go retrieve them. So I know this is a long story, but it's worth it. So I'm driving through and just completely enjoying the scenery. Great meadows are covered with snow. And what I did is I had my camera and I'm driving and I'm not even looking. I just know where the click the button is. And I just was taking pictures while just outside of the window, taking pictures. And I would pull over every now and then and just take in that beauty, and take some more pictures. And I found myself right at the same one in the parking lot where I thought that I had dropped it. I could envision that I could have dropped it there, and I dug away some snow and I didn't find it there. And what I was looking for is, I'm going to show you something that's like what I was looking for. It's this little case, only it was hot pink. So it's metallic and it opens and it's very cute, and it holds business cards. I know business cards are credit cards, and it's small, right? So it's easy to carry in your ski jacket. And it was hot metallic pink, right? And so I'm looking for this bright hot metallic pink case container in the snow, and I didn't find it. And I thought, that's okay. I must have left it in the so I went shopping, and so I went to some of those shops, and nobody had seen it. And I went into this like dining commons cafeteria area, and I said, do you mind if I just go take a look around? No, we don't mind. And I looked around, and the guy said, no, if anybody found a wallet, I would know about it, he said. He was like an assistant manager or something. And I thought, oh, okay, but he hadn't seen anything. So I just thought, that's okay. Things happen behind everyone's back, right? How could he possibly know if someone else turned it into another employee? He might not know. They might not have spread the word yet, right? So this is how I think, that there must be a way, there must be a way. And I looked where I had been sitting, and no, and the janitors hadn't found it, no. And I went back up to him and I said, are you sure nobody has turned in? It's hot pink, it's about this big. And he said, no. And he said, no, it'd be right here. I said, do you mind checking one more time in that drawer? And he goes, sure. Everyone in Yosemite is super duper nice. Like, he wasn't annoyed with me at all. He was like, sure, I'll take a look. And he pulls out his drawer, and there's all these papers piled there. And he's looking, and he had decided, no, it wasn't there. And I look from the side, and bing, there's this hot pink color shining through between these papers. I said, wait, right there. And he goes, oh, and he pulls it out, and he goes, yeah, and he didn't even look inside. I was like, that's it. And sure enough, everything was there that needed to be there. And so, okay, so I have to tell you something else about that story, because I was so overjoyed, and I welcomed it back. And the thing is that I knew that it was there somewhere, right? Like, you got that message. I knew that it was waiting for me to retrieve it. I just had to go and find it. And you know, I left my credit cards there to bring me back into the park and enjoy that that beautiful drive and see the wildlife and snap some more photos. And so the next part that I want to share with you is that when I got home, as it turned out, I had received notice from the bank that, was saying, hey, we're offering this new service. You get to design your own credit card. So they have their own photos that you can use, or you can import your own picture and use that instead. And so I knew exactly what picture I wanted to put, because I had gone through all those photos that I had taken from that drive-in, and every photo that I looked at from that trip just reminded me of like how protected I was and how wonderful life was and how good I felt. And so I picked up one of those photos, and you can't really tell, but it's a visa. And so this is like the great meadow, and there's some trees, and you can't tell because I was taking the picture into the sunshine, so you can't see how like bright blue the sky was. But I chose that picture because it reminds me, and every time I stick this card in the ATM, and whether I'm making a deposit or a withdrawal, I remind myself how good life is, and how protected I am, and how good people are in this world, and how bountiful my bank account is and can be. And it just reminds me about all the things that I like to pay attention to that are good in life. And so I love Yosemite. So do my parents. And in fact, this is one of the paintings that my dad did. So that's Half Dome over there. And my parents like to go there in the wintertime too. They'll go several times during the year. But so this holds special meaning for me too. I love Yosemite, and so I love to have this one. So I decided to move the paintings around a bit so that I could stand in front of this one, because that's what I was reminding myself of yesterday while I was tempted to get into panic. And then I let myself break down, because that's a lot of work that I poured into those programs, and a lot of details that I needed to retrieve, and that I would have, but it just would have taken me a lot of time because I wasn't willing to spend up to $4,000 to do that. So in any case, I let myself experience my emotions, have my feelings, and then pick myself back up and then say, okay, I got that out of my system. Now what? And I remembered about that drive into Yosemite, and I would come up with another inspired thought. And when I was coming back from the city after getting my hair done, and I'm driving along the freeway, and I was just remembering about how I can be enjoying this drive. This drive can be just fine, and I can be grateful for how things are working out in the world, and I can feel good that I'm protected. And so it's just some more hours of work that I have to do, and thankfully that's all that was on there. It was just my own data from my own banking programs. And I came up with the idea, drive to your office, and anyway, I feel like I'm more of an expert in my computer network and how everything looks on backup drives and all of that, because I swear when I was looking at my backup drive, the external drive that I had used, I could not see the files that I needed. And when I typed in the search I tried all sorts of different names, how the computer could recognize and identify those backup files, all sorts of different extensions, dot, such and such, any sort of combination, and it was invisible. It wasn't there. It was not showing itself. And I just thought, how weird is that why would this data not make it up onto this backup drive after I'd backed everything up? And it wasn't until I actually came into the office and I thought of one more step that I needed to do, which was to switch it to a different computer. Why would I have thought to do that? I just unplug it and put it in a different computer. And sure enough, I found exactly what I was looking for. And it was the most recent file. It was not 2 days old. Both files that I needed were the most recent files. So that's kind of my long-winded story, but about finding something that's lost or that you think is lost. And the lesson there for me is that somehow life continues to be about the journey, and it was a test for me. It let me go through the emotions that I was having, and that was important for me to not try and hide my emotions or not try to stifle the experience that I was having, and in a fake way convince myself that, oh, everything's fine, don't worry about it, because then I would have felt like I was in denial. So I went through feeling the way that I was feeling. And then after I got that out of my system, it was like, okay, now it's time to move forward. What else can I do? And my brain got in gear, and I thought of one other thing, and I knew to ask for help. So I must have had about 5 different avenues of searching for help on the phone or in person, maybe 6, you know. So I was coming up with everything that I could think of. So I wasn't trying to be, you know, the Lone Ranger and do it all myself. I really was looking for help. And one person gave me an idea that led to the next, and they didn't even know it necessarily, but one conversation led to the next, and eventually I found resolution and relief, and another recognition that things work out in life. Everything is okay. And even though life may seem like a struggle and we wonder why, you know, challenges are presented to us, underneath that all, there's something deeper that we probably need to learn from that. And I'm sure that the more that I think about it, I'll be coming up with some other lessons there for me too. And other things to be grateful for, like how great was that this happened on a day when I wasn't at the office and I didn't have to be at the school teaching. So I had flexibility in my day and way more hours than I typically have on a Thursday to be able to focus on this and to be able to eventually find resolution. So I thought that was a major benefit too, the timing of everything. So in any case, all is well, and I hope I've inspired you to find ways that all is well in your life as well. And if you feel like you've lost something, try and sit with that and think a little bit more deeply and just let your mind maybe shut down a little bit, get into some gratitude, get into feeling thankful for all the, even if it feels like it's a little thing, you know, that you had an amazingly delicious lunch today, you know, something that you might take for granted, but someone else doesn't take for granted, you know, someone else would really highly value something that you have or that you are experiencing in your life because they're experiencing lack in that one area, and yet you are experiencing fullness in that area. Those are great things to recognize and feel thankful for. And you watch how it starts to trickle out. More and more things will start appearing for you to feel grateful for, and you'll start realizing moment by moment how wonderful things are really for you. So I encourage you to look to see what's in the journey for you. And thanks for joining me. It's a little bit longer video than what typically it is, but I appreciate you hanging in there with me, and hope you have an amazing weekend. Leave a comment below. Let me know what things you're grateful for, maybe what things that you've lost and that you found that you really had them, or they were there for you anyway. Let this be an inspiration for you to look at all those little twinkles and all those glimmers of wonderfulness in your life that you get to focus on. So like this video, please, and share it among your friends. Ask your friends and family and contacts to come to visit my page here, and give a thumbs up, like this page too, and you can also find me on YouTube, and look forward to seeing you next time. All right, have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.